So Football Manager has had a bit of a facelift with the new gens. However, they're a bit weird. Like, that is the same guy. That is two play. That's just one click, look. It's the same guy. His eyes, they've changed his eyebrows and given him a bit of a perm. That's it. Same guy. Same guy. Just different hairs, look. And it gets a bit frustrating. Now, I know there's a new pack come out by one of the others, like the Dutch guy who's done a pack where you put it in so simple and it automatically generates the faces. However, when I installed that myself, there was only 800 faces. And a lot of the players like here were kind of repeating themselves and players looked extremely similar. White Caucasian dudes were looking exactly the same. So we're going to change it using the Gaffers Lounge New Gens face pack. Now, when the time comes and I can automatically put them into the game for you, there is a process to do it. I did actually speak to the Dutch creator, Bassyboy. I will leave a link down in the description as well to the video that he did where you can do this automatically. So if you're super bright, then, you know, by all means, go for it. It was bear in mind that I managed to get the new gen manager working over the last few years. That was another step above. But I will leave his video linked down in the description if you really want to try and get this fantastic face pack put in automatically into the game. Once it becomes simpler, I will once again do a video. I am hoping we can get a simpler way of putting these new gen faces into the game. So first thing, we need to download and install this face pack. This face pack has over 100,000 pictures. The other face pack, the ones with the real faces, they look exactly the same because there's only 800 and the variations are very, very small. Over 100,000 pictures in here. Click on the link. I'll leave it down in the description. Click on the page and then go right here. Click that and then you get this huge file. Download 7 gigabytes. So you want to press download. As that's downloading, you then need to go into your Football Manager save. And you can see here, I've got this beautiful little code. This is the code that you need. So to get the codes up, you go into Preferences, Detailed, Audio and Visual, scroll down right to the bottom, Show Screen IDs, make sure that is ticked, press Confirm, and that will give you the little code right there. Okay, now once the file has downloaded, it will look like that. Can you see right there? I've got my little pack and it's got zip, so we need to extract it. So what you're going to do is extract it. Extract all. You can extract it wherever you want. It doesn't have to be in Football Manager for this. That's the important thing. It doesn't have to be in Football Manager. So all I've done is actually put it here in my Sports Interactive folder. You've got FM24, FM26, and we've got the pack there. And inside the pack there, you have got all these beautiful folders, different ethnicities. You got your Caucasian dudes. What have we got? Asian, like hundreds, thousands of pictures for you to choose from. We've got the Italmed one that we're going to use for today. And then right down here, we've got this little config file, which is super important. So next thing, after you've extracted it wherever you want, go to FM26, go to graphics. You know, I've got some other face packs because I've got face packs, logo packs, kit packs, and the like. And right here, as you can see, I've got a Cagliari. Now you can name this whatever you want. I like to put them different config files for different saves. So what you're going to do is make a folder if you want to name it your save, whatever, your favourite food, don't matter, put it in. I've probably even spelled Cagliari wrong, to be fair there. Make a folder. Inside my folder at the moment, I've got one face. Now that face is for the only player that I've done in the game. My sort of like my best youth player at Cagliari. And then we've got the config folder, which is super important. Now, what you need to do is, once you've set up your empty folder, go back to your FM New Gens face pack, get this folder here and copy it. Just a copy. Bosh. Bosh. Then go to Sports Interactive, Football Manager, Graphics, the folder that you've made, paste it in there. So then you will have an empty folder. Okay? All right, so now we've got the config folder in there. Ignore my CAG one. That's just an example. I'm going to go through and make another one for you now. Now, if we go back into the game, let's get my best young pup. Where is he? Lorenzo Musa. So now we've got that ID number right there. So that number right there is going to be super important. So we're going to use that, but we need to find a face for him. So we're going to go back into our Mega Pack face. We're going to go to Italian Med and we're going to pick out a handsome chap. Here we go. This one right here. So what we're going to do is instead of cutting it, I'm going to copy it. So we're going to go copy, and then we go back to our folder that we've just created. Look, my Cagliari, and I'm going to paste it in there. And I'm going to call it, and I'm going to rename it. You can once again rename it whatever you want, but as you can see, I've got a little bit of a CAG 1, CAG 2 kind of going, just to make it a little bit easier for the simpletons like me. Right, that's done. In he goes. We're now going to right click this, open with Notepad. In Notepad, you have this here. Now, the first 2 lines, record from image name, as you can see, that is the example. So what you need to do is copy that line, and then you're going to paste it like this. Copy. And then I'm going to paste it below the one that I've just done there. So what we need to do now is, first thing here, we change the name, the image name, to whatever it is called in your graphics folder. So it was CAG2, wasn't it? That's it, CAG2. Now this is the tricky bit. So what we need to do is, we need to go back into the game and we need to get that code there. Now, I'm useless at remembering stuff, so I often at least try and write it down. So we need that code there. Head back to your config folder that you've got up already. Now, if it's a new gen, super important you do this. The first thing you do is going to put a little R and dash, all right? Then you're going to put in the number of the player. That's it. Boom. Press save. Exit folder. Back in the game, all you need to do is get out. In the past, you always had to do the clear cache and, you know, tick a few little boxes. For this one, isn't the case. You just need to get out of the game, re-upload the game, load back into your save, go to your squad, and there you can already see Lorenzo Musa, little pick, big pick, job done. Now, you do need to do that for all the players, but the way I see it is like, I'm not going to be clicking on, you know, the under 18s for a Series C side, and I'm just working on when I have a player uploaded into my squad, into my under 18s, 19s or whatever that I'm going to use, I will start doing it. Now, it does work for other players as well. So Jet Li Espin is a real player. If you're doing real players in that config folder, you don't need to put R dash. I would simply put that number in because he's not a regen, as you can see. He's just a normal player that hasn't been given a face in the face pack that I have got. If you're doing a new gen, you have to have that R dash and then the number. You need to follow it exact. I realised that I had an extra hyphen from me deleting and messing about with the folder last night, and I couldn't get it to work. GG Dangia for helping me out and noticing the little mistake I'd made because it was driving me insane. So you need to make sure it is identical to what I've just done, otherwise it won't work. Just make sure you always get this folder here when you're doing the config file, moving it over, always do copy, just so you've always got a hard base copy there and it's not involved in the game. Any questions, put them down in the comments. As I said, once the easier thing comes to NewGen Manager or whatever, we will do a video because that proved really popular over the last couple of years on the channel. But this is superb. Like, look at that. Simon Blackman-Vale compared to his central midfield partner. There's no comparisons, is there? All right. Cheers, guys. Smash a like. See you later.